realist, somewhat an idealist. I have a streak of idealism. I have to put qualifiers around my idealism because I also want to express that I am a realist. A realist? Am I into rails? Is that how I pronounce that? A realist. I understand that my ideals are not 100% achievable. That's why I have to qualify and say I am a somewhat of an idealist. The problem with idealism is it's a double-edged sword. Is that the right thing to say? The right thing to say? There's a point of discussion. Right? What is right? What is wrong? Idealism can be a problem because if you're 100% of an idealist, it's a recipe for failure. Because achieving 100% of anything is probably not going to happen. Simple example. This week my topic was, and I suppose still is, arguing, and how much I just don't like arguing. And I proposed and continue to propose that arguing, the nasty kind, I mean, we have to discuss things and try to figure out how to reach compromises. But that nasty kind of arguing where I have an opinion and you have an opinion and we just scream at each other, it's a waste of time. That's what I propose. But the problem with thinking that the world can be 100% anger free is that it's not going to happen. Human beings aren't designed that way. Anger is a part of life. We have emotions. And the yin and yang of it dictates that some emotions are positive and some are negative. And even that is subject to debate. What is positive? What's negative? One man's heaven is another man's hell. And so that goes for idealism. If I hold on to my ideals in such a way as to say, like, for instance, the arguing thing, that nobody should argue, we should never argue, the world should be argument free, I'm just going to be disappointed, because there will always be times when that ideal is not reached. And especially if that's spread to a global scale. To be an idealist to the point of thinking that the entire world should live up to your ideals, that the world should be perfect, that's a problem. It ain't gonna happen. Now, to hope for it to be that way most of the time, or to be tending towards that, it's a good thing. If nothing else, if you practice what you preach, you're making the world a better place for you and your family and the people you work with and your friends. That's a good thing. And the ripple effect can go out to people that you don't even know. You can have a positive effect on people you've never met just because you're living up to your ideals. But you also have to cut yourself some slack, because you're not always going to live up to your ideals. So what do you do when you don't live up to your ideals? Do you kick yourself around and punish yourself and torture yourself? That's one approach. But what does that accomplish? It's probably best just to say, oops, didn't live up to my ideals, I'll do better next time. And getting back to the global thing, the problem with idealism and perfection is, who decides what is ideal and what is perfect? Again, one man's heaven is another man's hell. So while I will continue to have a streak of idealism, and I'm 51 years old, I hope to continue holding on to that. I think I will. I mean, if I've held on to it this long, chances are I'll hold on to it for however much longer I have here on this planet. I don't think you have to get old and grumpy. In fact, there's times when I think I'm even more of an idealist now than I have been at other points in my life. But it always has to be tempered with realism, and knowing that the world is not going to be a perfect place for all of the reasons I stated already. Idealism. Yeah, it's okay. It's a good thing. As long as you keep a little bit of realism there as well. I wish I had something profound to say to close this, but I'm an idealist, but I'm also a realist. I know that there's not always a clever ending.